welcome to InfoPlace Canada's YouTube channel. Hi everyone, welcome to InfoPlace Canada's YouTube channel. My name is Florence Akpan. I am a regulated Canadian immigration consultant, and today I will be talking about one of the most requested, one of the most asked questions right now that we get at InfoPlace Canada, especially because of the trends with immigration. And that question is, how can I apply to a provincial program? What is a provincial nomination program? Provincial programs are actually programs that are tailored towards the provinces, and it's really for skilled workers who have the skills, the experience, the knowledge that is required to meet the labor needs and the labor demands in various provinces. Most times you would find that with provincial programs, they are very specific in their criteria and exactly what they're looking for, because most provincial programs is driven by the needs in the provinces to increase population and to meet the labor shortage demands in the various provinces. So you'd find the programs being very specific to like students, business professionals, skilled workers, and also semi-skilled workers as well. So there are provinces that have all of that. There are actually 10 provinces and 1 territory in Canada right now that have provincial nomination programs and agreements that they have put in place with the federal government, and how they actually help immigrants immigrate to their provinces. What is the provincial nomination application process? There are actually 2 ways to apply through provincial programs, and it depends on what province that you're applying through and what program would determine how your application goes. There's the paper-based application, and then there's the online application for provincial programs. With the paper-based application, what that means is that it's a particular category that the provinces would have where you apply directly to the province, and once you get nominated, of course, meaning that you do meet all of the eligibility criteria from that province and you get nominated, then your application would then be forwarded to the federal government, who makes the final decision on who becomes a permanent resident or not. And typically that's where your medical check, your criminality check, your inadmissibility check gets taken into consideration for that final decision to be made. So that's the paper route. Then there's the online route. It's an online application process where it's linked to an express entry system application. Most people who are exploring provincial programs may have already been in the express entry system or know very much about the express entry system. With this particular application, then you're looking at a program that is tied to the express entry system. There are certain provinces who you don't have to apply to directly. The fact that you're in the express entry system makes you available to those provinces. If you meet their criteria in terms of the type of skills and expertise that they're looking for, you meet all of the eligibility criteria of that province, and you did select and signify interest that you would like to immigrate to that province, you could potentially receive an invitation. When you receive that invitation, it could either be through the express entry system or it could be through the provincial online expression of interest system. There are some provinces that have that. With that particular system, once you get invited in any, either be it express entry or the provincial route, then you would then apply to the province. And when you apply to the province, when you receive a nomination, that nomination actually pops up into your express entry account. As long as you still meet eligibility for express entry at the time when that nomination comes, you can accept that nomination through the express entry system and then proceed on with the express entry route, waiting for an ITA. When you get your ITA, you then submit your final application to the federal government and then receive a nomination through that. So that's basically the online provincial route. And I'll give you examples. Like, I'll use 2 of my clients to give you an example. I had a client who was a nurse and was in the express entry system, and last year in about October, the province of Nova Scotia actually went in. What we did when we had our profile created was that we made sure that she was available to all provinces. There were no preference because the scores were getting high And I wanted to ensure, is what I do with all my clients, ensure that you have a fair chance of getting permanent residence. And most times my clients are not very picky as to where they want to be. So we were able to select all of the provinces. And luckily for my client, the province of Nova Scotia invited her to apply. We applied to the province of Nova Scotia, submitted the application, and within 30 days, she received her nomination. Once she received the nomination, it popped up in the Express Entry profile. We accepted it. She got additional 600 points, and then we were able to actually proceed with the Express Entry application, which is now in process at this time. That's the province that actually went through the Express Entry system. So I've had clients too in the province of Saskatchewan whose application went through the expression of interest in Saskatchewan. With the Saskatchewan system, you actually have to submit an expression of interest in the province of Saskatchewan based on their own criteria, their own assessment grid, and all of that. If you meet the minimum criteria of 60 points, you can actually submit a profile, and then the cutoff, based on what the cutoff is on every draw, you would receive an invitation to apply. Once you're invited to apply, we would package a convincing application to the province, and the province would nominate you. So we've had multiple clients go through the system, get nominated. That nomination, once you're nominated, you receive a letter from the province, and you also receive a notification in your Express Entry profile. This is what happened to my client. They received a notification in their Express Entry profile, and then we were able to get an ITA. Of course, 600 points more, you're definitely getting an ITA, at least based on the trend. So we're able to receive an ITA and then submit the application straight to the federal government now for the final decision. That's an example of the two routes for permanent residence. When people ask, how can I apply? The question then lies, what do you qualify for? What province do you meet the criteria for? And I do this through my consultation, analyzing what the options are for my clients in the various provinces to determine which one we're going to be focusing on, which route we're going to be taking. Once we determine what that is, then we're submitting your profiles to those provinces if we have to externally, or ensuring that your Express Entry profile reflects your interest to relocate or immigrate to those provinces, and then you have your option right there. So I hope this answers the question on how do I apply for provincial program. You don't just apply for provincial program. The best you can do is show an interest to immigrate to a certain province, and if you meet the eligibility criteria for that province, then you will receive an invitation to apply, and then you can apply. One thing that I would add is, if you're interested in a particular province, and whatever province it is, it's important to know what the criteria are, because we've also had situations, I've actually had clients where they do meet the criteria for a certain province, they meet the requirements, but they don't have all the documentation and all the proof of funds and all the things that are required in a timely manner to actually make use of that opportunity. While there may not be anything right now inviting you or meeting your criteria, it's still important to be knowledgeable and be prepared, just in case the opportunity opens up, you don't miss it. Most times the provinces will give you 30 days after you received an invitation from them. Some of them will give you 45 days, some will give you 60 days. You want to be equipped, ready to move in case of any opportunity that opens up. So I hope that answers anyone's question regarding immigrating to Canada through provincial programs. And applying through provincial programs is not a very straightforward process, but it's definitely doable and does have a lot of success stories, and it's the routes that a lot of immigrants have actually used and successfully immigrated to Canada, especially with the increasing trends in the Express Entry score. Provincial programs are definitely an option. The key is ensuring that you do meet the requirements for them, which are not always very easy to meet, but explore your options, check with the provinces and see what you qualify for, and then take it from there. I hope this answers your questions, and I hope you at least understand how these provincial programs work. Leave us a message, book a consultation with me. I will be more than happy to walk you through your own unique case and answer any questions in regards to what you qualify for, how you can actually apply, and what your options look like to immigrate to Canada.